in a world of uncertainty.
Rivers jizzing in his pants, and then you bring up your wife in the next sentence. Like, I know where we're going. What is going on?
There is only one place you can turn for fair dinkum advice.
1 word, unbelievable. 2 words, holy shit. 3 words, oh my god.
A place where the undeniably American
It sounds so weird in like an Australian accent.
meets the undeniably Aussie.
Hey, let's stop the foreskinning for some absolutely wonderful segments later.
Where the analysis is solid
I, for one, was not one of those haters, as I picked a Rams victory.
Look, I think he can get over 150 yards in this game, easily.
Kick his ass, Taylor Bass!
and everything else is out to kill you.
There's going to be shrinking nutsacks all over the place.
Welcome to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
G'day, and welcome in to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. You know me, I'm Matty C, and before we start, I like to do this every time, and I'm going to do it now before we invite in the other guys. Just going to do the quick whip around on things that I usually do. But firstly, and very most importantly, is that I'd like to acknowledge the traditional landowners of the land that myself and Manjot are dialing in from today here in Canberra. It's traditionally Ngunnawal and Ngambri land, and we'd like to pay respect to the owners and the leaders here who are past, present, and emerging. Also, our special guest who will be dialing in from here in Canberra today. But we'd also like to extend that acknowledgement up to the Dharawal people, where Talor is dialing in from in Wollongong, and pay respect to the leaders there, past, present, and emerging as well. The traditional landowners on Australia is very important, we think, to acknowledge them straight from the outset. I'd also just like to let you know we can find us too, because we are all over social media, and it has been growing and growing and growing. And each week, we've got more places where we are. Okay, we all know through the link tree, you can get all of them, and that's just at linktree/Aussie NFL Fantasy. You can also find our YouTube, our Instagram, our TikTok, and now Snapchat, all by searching at Aussie NFL Fantasy, and you can get them all through the link tree. Also our Twitter, where we are at AU NFL Fantasy. Our email address is aussienflfantasy@gmail.com. And lastly, if all of those are not for you, visual, audio, typing it out, how about you speak it? Go and find us on Anchor, who are our podcast host site, and go to anchor.fm/Aussie NFL Fantasy. There's a leave a message button there. You can leave us a message up to a minute long. I've had enough of doing this bit. Now I'm going to bring in the guys, and it's a great show. We're going to be doing it in a few parts for the video, but the audio is all going to come out in one big swing. And we are making some big calls tonight. So let's throw in a drop and bring the guys in.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Manjot, myth, legend.
Who thinks they're going first this week, by the way? Hands up.
It's Talor.
Oh, you're wrong. It's you, man.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh, okay. Man, that is just a load of information. Lot of dumping right there, man. Yes, you gotta go for them early and then trade them. I was feeling that sort of vibe from Talor. Talor nailed, I reckon. Yeah, as someone who's living the pain of the Jimmy G experience still, just trade that man, please.
I just realised he, basically had hamstrings made of tissue. That was great.
A lot like mine.
Anyway, back to Manjot.
How about me with my Peyton Manning jersey that I got for Christmas last year?
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
It's an upgrade, but he's not going to be so elite.
All right, we're back from that, and there's been a little bit of costume change. I was wearing a very black shirt in my introduction, but now, by silent agreement and some moons aligning, you got me, as you know, Matty C, wearing only my boyfriend Peyton Manning's jersey. Manjot, firstly, welcome back. Secondly, I've never seen you in blue. This is rattling me. What's going on there?
Yeah, I thought to copy his style a little bit, Don't you dare take Peyton Manning off me. He's mine. I followed him on Instagram way before you did. I had to tell you he was on Instagram. That means I'm officially the biggest Peyton Manning fanboy out there. He was my generation's sort of quarterback. And he's always the GOAT in my eyes. Tom Brady's overrated. Peyton Manning's the GOAT. But there we go. That's the first bold call of the night that I'm going to put out. Yeah, first. You said bold calls.
Woo!
This is bold calls. That's exactly what I'm going to say.
Mm.
Yeah. So, Yeah, we'll see what the others have to say.
Need to quell that fire. I'm going to do that by introducing Taylor. Mate, it's good to have you back, and you're looking far more well than you were with your auto draft picks last time around. How you feeling, mate? It's good to have you back.
Mate, basically had every flu under the sun. Now I've all of a sudden got hiccups, so this is great timing. You called me Taylor. I am a T name, but it's not Taylor, mate. It's Tua. Tagovailoa. That's my boy. Let's do this tonight, mate. Doing it for Tua.
I feel like he's going to come up later then.
Mate, no foreskinning here. Let's just see what happens.
He's 8 of 10. You have a 1 in 8 chance.
I'll keep the foreskin.
Yeah, I've only got 16 bowl calls ready for tonight, so I decided to keep it low.
So for everyone who's hanging around for him, stay tuned for these 15 bonus episodes that will be coming out later in the week.
All me.
Now, we've got another guest. This is a few shows in a row, and I'm so pleased to have veteran of the show and 2019 Astros League champion Marky Mark join us again. Mate, welcome back.
Hello, friends.
Mark, let's go.
I could smell the tour background and I just wafted in. It just dragged me in.
It's like following his nose from popcorn chicken in the trophy that year. He can smell a dolphin, this guy.
Man, what was in that chicken? We'll never know.
I'm too good, mate.
Too good.
We've also thought that maybe we're tracing back all your illnesses to getting the trophy from Mark. And that maybe Mark, with all his chicken in the trophy, has given you something. I don't know.
And the 800 different types of beer that have been it between you, Matty, Steve, me.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
that thing was constantly full of beer. That thing's had a workout, mate. If I were you, I'd get the CLR clear into it or something like that. The tarn off.
There's an interesting type of salmonella in there for sure.
Well, now I've got us all introduced in. We are going to run through some pretty big bold calls, and we've all brought 2 really meaty bold calls. We'll also sprinkle in a few others later on. But one thing that is important to know about Marky Mark, he has been in just as many dynasty leagues as a human being possibly can be, and has always, especially in the redraft leagues in recent years, had a bit of an affinity towards taking the rookies and having a bit of a punt at them. And Marky Mark, while we've got your specialized rookie brain with us, would you be okay with me running a few rookies at you to talk about what maybe we can expect from them in just standard fantasy redraft this year?
Absolutely. Fire away.
All right. I think the one that people will have the most issue with straight out of the gate looking at running backs is Breece Hall.
I'm so glad you started here.
Mark loves him.
The first pick in every dynasty draft, right? Yeah. So what's the do? What do you expect from Breece Hall in a league like this?
Am I the best
dynasty?
man at your wedding?
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't get invited to you and Justin Herbert, so
that's true.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, very, very, very quaint there.
Floor is yours.
Look, I personally feel that Breece Hall is being massively overdrafted, and obviously, like he's 101 in most of in terms of ADP. But any running back that has a dramatic rise in almost the last half of a college season, that for me, that's just red flags. Yeah, like give me a consistent performer. I think out of this class, personally, I've seen Kenneth Walker, I've seen Isaiah Spiller. They're more all-rounded, they're more adaptable, they can do more. Breece Hall, when you look at his college stats, 2021, he actually took a little bit of a dive on 2020, played the same amount of games. But when you look at how Iowa State, University, how they actually ranked second nationally in red zone offense last year. Now, when you look at the team he's on now, they're nowhere near that good in terms of like for like leagues. Last year, Jets ranked 14th in run blocking. So buyers beware. I would still give me Michael Carter because I've seen him do it.
I could see Taylor.
On that offense.
You need to chime in here, Tay. You're looking angry.
You're
looking angry.
I was just gonna I was just going to back up a question because you said obviously you weren't keen, obviously at 101, obviously in Dynasty. Are you saying he's still too high in redraft? Because I think he's going around running back 2021 range. So you think he's still
No,
too
that's
high
probably no. He'd be a 2. He'd still be a 2. But in terms of the rookies, he's not my favorite. Give me personally, give me Isaiah Spiller all day because I think he's going to have the better run out of all of them. He's on the better offense. They've already said Austin Eckler they're going to dial his work back, so he's going to get work. Whereas I just feel like when we get to the end of this season, we'll look back on Brees Hall and go, shit, we probably should have gone in a different direction if that's who you drafted.
So pretty much you're just saying like there's other rookies that are way better value later in drafts that you'd rather take a shot on because I think Spiller's like in the 40s or something, and so you'd rather just wait and just take someone like that instead of paying up for like a 3rd, 4th, 5th round pick or something on Brees Hall.
Absolutely, mate. Like even you look at like a rookie dynasty draft. So me, Matty, and Manjot are actually in one right now, where Brees Hall he's going first off the rank. You can get Spiller in the 2nd round. So you're talking 14th, 15th pick off. Oh, no, where did I get him? He was like 17th or 18th pick. It was crazy.
I don't know how you remember where you got him because you got him in every damn rookie draft I've been in with you. I think we're in 6 leagues together and just every single one. I think you've got him.
I took him at 103 and 1 and I got laughed at. I thought, it's fine. I'm happy.
It's like Matty taking James Cook in every mock draft we've done in this offseason.
Matty did say this would come up.
Mm-hmm.
He did say you would punish him for this, so.
Yeah, 100%. There's the James Cook, James Conner water bet we haven't made yet, but
geez, I would love that.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about it. But Marky Mark, so Isaiah Spiller is one I've got on my list too because you've taken him in so many mock drafts. Realistically, in just a standard redraft PPR, what do you think you can get out of Spiller? What do you think his ceiling is going to be like then if you've got some comfort taking him over someone like Brees Hall where the hype's real?
Look, if I'm forecasting output, I would have him almost what we hoped Javonte Williams would be. So towards the end, just trying to think of a better example. Maybe more Michael Carter. Maybe that sort of 15 to 20 with a touchdown. Obviously, you can't forecast a touchdown, but I think the catches will be there, the receptions will be there, which is important for him. He's more of a do-it-all running back, whereas Brees Hall is more of he's just going to hit the gaps. And when you look at his college stats, he wasn't a receiving back. He was just ground and pound.
So what do you think that does to Eckler then? Because man, if he's not a top 3 running back in pretty much every draft I've seen, then I'm not here.
The Chargers, they've already said that they're going to dial his work back. He's just getting too many touches, and I think it'll be more of a committee situation. So yes, it will absolutely take Eckler's value down, but then it'll just be a value play. So in essence, this could almost be like your Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams situation where you've just got to be maybe take both, handcuff it. I know it's hard to handcuff with 4 bench spots as much as I vote against that every year, Matthew. And you don't
the Astro League format, yeah. It's tough only having 4 bench spots in a 16-team league.
You cannot handcuff with 4 bench spots. But yes, I kind of see it being that sort of situation.
Sorry, I was just going to chime in there because it's what I do best. I think there actually is a world where Spiller and Eckler coexist, and because if you actually have a look, Eckler doesn't have a huge workload as it is. Like he actually doesn't have a huge amount of rush attempts. He just gets a lot of the high, the high value ones. Like he's always there in the red zone. The amount of receiving touchdowns he gets is just amazing.
Yeah.
If you actually look at the load, they actually did try and sort of drop it off last year. Like there was just a mixture of Josh Kelly and Jackson, and just like they just didn't really have a proper option behind him that they could be comfortable with. So I think what you might see is they might be more confident in Spiller to go, you take everything else that Eckler doesn't have. And that's actually quite valuable in itself because it used to just get split between like 3 guys behind Eckler, whereas now it just might be like a 65-35 split. And honestly, I don't see that being horrendous for Eckler either because, like I said, he's always been so efficient with his touches anyway. So I actually think I could see Eckler still returning value, but with Spiller still actually having a really good season as well.
I mean, I think you're probably right there as well. They can coexist. We've seen teams with 2 viable running backs all over the place. I mean, you only have to look at the Browns with Kareem Hunt behind Nick Chubb, and both of them carry value on their own. They're independent of whatever happens with each other's health. They've actually just got value of their own. This is, I guess, in the theme of tonight a little bit too. It's bold to say it now. So I do admire that both or either of you are happy to stick your neck out and have a crack at that because it's an early spot in the season to be saying things like that. So, but it's nice to see you guys teaming with the theme. I wanted to shift across to a couple of wide receivers too, because clearly fellas like Drake London get a fair bit of the sunshine when it comes to rookie receivers. And I think he's probably a good one to start at is, Atlanta have to throw the ball. It's going to need to go to someone. Is the maths that simple? Should we be getting behind Drake London, Marky?
Well, yeah, who else are they going to throw it to outside of Pitts? But I mean, in saying that, Pitts is amazing. And he will be, if he would be a first round, I imagine one of the first tight ends off the board. If Talor, if you feel differently, or Manjot, if you feel differently.
I think it'd be top 3.
It's going to be top 4.
Yeah, he'd be about 3. He'd probably be 3rd on upside. Some people may still go like Kittle or Waller. I think he fits anywhere between like 3 and 5.
Yeah.
I can imagine a world where people have more belief in the upside of Pitts than the stability of Kittle after a couple of tough injury years. So I can imagine a world where that's the case. But I mean, I also think we should just cut to a quick shot of Olamide Zaccheaus, Mark, here giving you, the double bird because I don't know about you. I thought Zaccheaus was pretty admirable last year.
Ryan Edwards. Ryan Edwards, baby. What about him?
Yeah, come on.
Third down Edwards. Watch Edwards.
Do you remember the week where it was trending to pick Brian Edwards up off waivers in your dynasty leagues? That was not that long ago, Marky.
Yeah.
Some dark days, Matty. Very, very scarce on that waiver wire.
Yeah.
With where London's going in drafts, though, is this a pick you yourself are happy to make at his current value, or do you just think the hype's out of control?
No, not with the quarterback situation. I just personally, I'm just staying away from it. I would much rather have Traylon Burks, for example. I just think he's more durable. He's more.
Talk to me about him.
He's going to be more efficient. Well, Talor should talk about him. He's Titans' number 1 guy.
Do you want the invitation, Tate? Do you want that invitation?
They drove down his ADP a couple of weeks ago. They're talking about his asthma and that he's going to have issues. But everyone, a lot of people in the know were just like, he's always had asthma. Like, they drafted him.
Jamar Chase dropped balls in
that's
season.
That's case in point. He couldn't work out the spiral of the ball, and Eddie, look at what he did.
Yeah,
you just don't believe any of that crap.
Yeah,
ride the Burks train. Yeah.
I think Burks is a very good shot at his ADP because he's not getting completely overdrafted. Like he is quite low. And with that offense, someone's going to have to take over. Robert Woods is probably the most obvious guy, but even he's coming off an ACL tear, and he's not a huge play guy. He's probably going to be more about volume. Traylon Burks, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a rookie. He probably is going to take a little bit of time to get acclimated, but they really need someone to spark that offense in the receiving game because it can't. I mean, we all know it could try to go through Henry for the entire game, but Ryan Tannehill is going to have times where he's going to actually have to throw, especially in the AFC. There's just way too many teams that can put points up. And I just think Traylon Burks, as the season goes along, is going to be really, really good value. And honestly, he could surpass Woods and be the one in that team in his rookie year. Like I could see that happening. Yeah. And he's just such a physical guy. That I think he's going to get acclimated a lot quicker than some of the smaller wide receivers. So I think he's a great pick of where he's going.
Yeah. When you look at ADP, he's actually going ahead of Drake London you look at a 12-team scenario, he's going in the 12th round. Drake's going in London's going in the 13th round. Which I think with the emergence of players like Deebo Samuel, for example, everyone's looking for the next Deebo, right? Like Deebo doesn't roll off I know Deebo doesn't roll off a factory line, but that sort of receiver that can do lots of things fits better within what is a more passing league, I think.
All right, so that's an interesting range of outcomes there for Treylon Burks, because he's definitely going to get all 4 targets that Julio leaves behind, which will be great.
Such quality usage.
Matty, on that, you look at, depending on how long you feel Tannehill's going to stay under center before they move to Malik Willis, which I actually think the second he starts to stumble, Malik's coming in because he does more.
Really?
Tannehill... We saw what Tannehill was with Jarvis Landry. It was just slants all day. So that's the Treylon Burks or the Robert Woods. So they will that will be more effective than having Julio out there double teamed.
Yep. Yeah, Julio on no hamstrings, double teamed. Not a great formula for anyone.
Hamstrings.
Hamstrings. Tissue paper, was it, Tay? Tissue paper?
Calling them hamstrings at all is just it's just wrong, mate. I don't know what were in there, like chicken feathers or something. I don't know what was in his legs, but they just were not hamstrings.
Gross overestimation. There's one other receiver I wanted to ask you about here, Marky Mark, because I think this is like an existential crisis point at Green Bay is, what do you do? Are you a Lazard guy or a Christian Watson guy? And it's kind of sexy.
So me and
Matt, the rookie.
We all know who I am.
We all know who I'm going with.
So give me the Dynasty guys' take on how this fits into redraft now, because someone's getting the ball there and they're only getting it from a 2-time in a row MVP quarterback. What happens?
It looks like he was on Con Air.
I saw that today. Shit, that was funny.
So good.
Look, I love Aaron. You go back to how Manjot was talking about Peyton. Like, for me, Aaron is the quarterback of when I've been watching football. He's been the best. It's really
just not
hard.
against the 49ers.
Yeah. Only against the other 30 teams. Yeah.
That's right. I've seen him use Lazard. That's where I would lean right now, only because I've seen it and I trust what I see.
Well done, Mark.
What I hope.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Manjot is shaking his head.
Wait, Maddie, you're on the Lazard side too, so I'm completely outnumbered. But I know rookie versus veteran. I know the veteran usually wins, but I'm taking Christian Watson's upside over Lazard's safety any day. And I'm talking like late round, say 14, 15. That's what I've been picking up into our mocks. I'm picking him every time because I believe in his upside. So that's why I am shaking my head, because me and Maddie have had our duels. Now I have to go against all 3 of you. Now, gosh dang. Yeah, I'm outnumbered out here.
He's come into camp with an injury, hasn't he? Didn't he come in? I don't know if they put him on the pup or not, but they definitely said he's got an injury.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, it's a concerning situation, but I'm still taking that upside somewhere. And it is late round upside. I'm not saying draft. Yeah. I'm not drafting him over Lazard. I'm drafting him instead of Lazard. I'm waiting for Lazard, and then I'm going for Watson later on, like a few rounds later. That's just how I'm feeling.
Yeah, you're playing the economy, right? And it's kind of, I don't know, there's a little bit of sexy appeal there, going for the unknown quantity with, well, goodness knows what his ceiling is, where, you know, we've had the benefit of seeing a little bit of Lazard in recent years, and his ceiling's fine. But that offense is going to have to look different when you take out one of the premier wide receivers, right? It's just going to have to look different. Right?
You can't really make a bad pick in the draft at where we're talking about. We're talking about wide receivers from like 45 to like 60 range. So you know, you make a bad pick there in the first couple of weeks, you drop them for somewhere else anyway. Like we're talking about guys that are going really, really late anyway. So you take your shot.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to throw an open question to Marky Mark here then about tight ends, because most people who are playing a 10 or 12 team league a rookie tight end is probably not on their radar unless it's someone who's got a prodigious, hype train behind them like a Kyle Pitts last year. Is there a single rookie tight end you would even want to look at in a standard size redraft league?
No. I mean, we come from the school, Matty, and you'll back me on this. Tight ends aren't even people.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh.
They're not.
The guy who holds the
They're just-
place kicker that's a person. Tight ends, no, they shouldn't get a vote.
No.
They leave
I
out,
think
they
the
leave out
holder.
ends loose, Mark. They leave out ends loose.
They do. That is just everything, Tate.
When
Well
you
done.
have to stream a tight end in a 16-team league through bye week Mageddon in week 9, then you lose all respect you have left for anyone in that position in a fantasy element. You just cannot look a tight end in the eye with any level of dignity toward them. It's not possible. You're going to find this out, Manjot. You are going to find this out hard.
This is why tight end premium leagues should be illegal. They're a disgrace.
Actually, Jay's in one. He was talking about a trade with a 2 tight end league earlier in the week.
Yeah. Oh, it's not premium. Like, we don't get any extra points for tight end. It's just 2 tight ends. Like, you've got to start 2 tight ends.
The difference between, if it's a 10-team league, the 11th tight end and the 19th and 20th tight end, oh, God, you don't want to know what's beyond that, right? Like,
Oh,
pretty heinous.
don't want to see that end. That's for sure.
It's Matt Ryan's end, and you don't want to be at that end.
So, Tate, you're starting 2 tight ends with no bonus.
No, no bonus. It's just
So
literally got to start 2 tight ends.
That's like saying, here, have a shit sandwich and a shit wrap.
Yeah, slits
Together.
and then slam
Both.
it together. Slam it together and just rub your hands in it. That's pretty much how it feels.
That's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Quit-
I've got
quit
Travis
the league.
Kelsey, though. I do have Kelsey. That makes it a little bit easier. So at least it's got one spot locked up.
One of the very few tight ends, really. But
Yeah.
Yeah, tight end premium.
One of the only one of the tight ones.
yeah.
Tight end premium sounds like a streaming service. That's more of a rip-off than NFL Plus sounds like right now. Yeah, that's just how I'm feeling with that.
It's better than
love
a
that.
streaming service being called Loose End. I don't want to know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
I got so excited about NFL Plus, and then I went on and realized it's just the same shit they've already got like that.
Yeah.
Tofu Sports for me it is.
Yes. Thank you for indoctrinating me into that last year. Mate, I couldn't have run through the other positions without asking you about quarterback, where we know that, well, Kenny Pickett is likely to be he's the most likely to be a starter of the rookies this year round. Are there any others you expect to be starting that we could plug into a lineup if we were just playing shoot your shot?
We talked about Malik Willis. I think he'll be a later season one. So I don't know if last year you were talking about Trey Lance. That was sort of what you anticipated him to be. I think that is more when they see that Malik with his rushing ability with Derek, particularly down, and they might even script plays for him. So I could actually see him getting game time early in the red zone, just because he offers a little more than Tannehill does. I could see it working.
The
But-
Taysom Hill of the
Vrabel's
Titans.
Vrabel's a
That's
nutcase
it.
as well.
That's
Vrabel
it.
will do it for sure.
He is a nutcase.
Yeah.
But Kenny Pickett, he's interesting. I mean, obviously there's the baby hand stuff, which is a thing.
Little mittens.
Passed on from Jack Doyle.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're the
One
same
goes out,
person.
another comes in.
Exactly.
You'll know they have never been seen in the same room together.
No, that's true.
I've never seen them in the same room together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Kenny
down.
Pickett, it's funny when you look at the comparisons. It's always my favorite thing. When in the pre-draft process, when they do the comps to who they look like
Yeah.
or who they expect them to be, they put up Joe Burrow, and I laughed. I thought Kenny Pickett is like when you're on Wish and you see a picture of Joe Burrow and you order it. Kenny Pickett's what turns up.
That's fantastic. This is the difference between buying the brand name and the home brand when you're in the supermarket. Yeah. And you go,
Yeah.
gee, that spaghetti
That's
doesn't taste
a
the same.
No,
It's Woolies Coke Zero.
Oh, yes.
correct.
I don't know what the sweetener is. I don't want to know.
No.
We don't even know.
Now, fellas, are there any other rookies you want to ask Mark about for redraft while we've got him here before we wrap the rookie segment?
Do we ask about Garrett Wilson yet?
We haven't. You haven't.
Yeah, we need to talk about
Poor
Garrett.
man.
Did you
Poor
just
man's
roll
Elijah.
your eyes?
Poor man's Elijah.
I could hear you rolling your eyes, Mark. I could hear it.
Yeah, that step was definitely.
Tell me about how he's going to be in Elijah's
Like,
shadow, Mark. Just
Clank
tell me.
as they hit the back of his head.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot, Manjot. What do you think?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. I'm not sold on him. Like,
Yes.
I think Elijah is definitely number one. They got to ride the Elijah train.
Yeah.
Braxton Berrios could even have some targets that take away from Garrett Wilson. So yeah,
Homebred Wes Welker.
yeah, not looking
I think
good.
Zach's just going to pass to whoever's got the hottest mum.
Yeah, 100%. So whose mom could I sleep?
I
with
need
this week?
to get a look at Elijah's mum. I really need to. Get a look at that.
I think that's
Yeah,
how Zach's
I-
doing it.
Going to change my rankings.
Yeah, that's why Elijah looks so good. By the way,
Do you reckon that's how it is? It's like on the CBS Sports where they bring up, the whole offense and everyone has their, what position they're at, what university they went to. And Zach has the same thing, but it's all his teammates' mums. And they're all like saying their age and where they went to
I
college.
could see that.
And he's like, right, now this is how I pick who I'm throwing it to.
yeah.
So
Zach
what I
Wilson
would-
of the New York Cougars.
Cougars.
You know what? That would be better than the fucking Jets.
It would,
Yeah.
definitely.
Look, obviously, put my bias aside for the fact that I hate the fucking Jets.
Divisional
Almost as much
things.
as I hate the fucking Patriots, and nowhere near as much as I hate the fucking Bills.
Oh.
Realistically, we just cannot beat the Bills. I hate Josh Allen.
But
He's so good, but I hate him.
Those were just three random teams, right? They weren't in the same division or anything.
No,
No.
Yeah.
not at all.
Just plucking them out of thin air, just as they
Yeah,
came to
absolutely.
him.
My concern with that Jets offense is I don't believe in Zach Wilson, and who he came on late, but he came on against doggish opponents. And when you consider that division is getting, so we retained all of our defensive pieces, so we should be pretty much the same. Secondary should still be fairly good with another season. You got the Bills, who you just can't do anything against because they're assholes. And the Patriots, look, Bill will get that right. I don't think they'll be bad forever. Like he's not going to get that like another season like last year. They'll figure it out. That's 6 games out of the season where he's going to have stiff. And I haven't exactly looked at their schedule, but I just don't believe in the Jets till I see it, and I hope I never see it.
Definitely got a
Fuck
decent
the Jets.
body of history to look at and go, right, Darnold,
Yeah.
it didn't work with him. Guys before that, really, there's been that Fitzmagic year. That 1 year in 10 before you get back to Sanchez. So, yeah.
I mean, to me,
think
they're
you could
just
do worse
drafting
and be like,
pieces.
well, they're usually shit, so they'll just be shit again. You could do worse than that.
What's their identity? Are they a run first team? Are they a pass first? Like, to me, they're just drafting pieces, and all their receivers are almost the same guy. So that's where I was like, well, I'm not outside of Michael Carter because, again, I've seen it. I'm not investing in any of you.
Yeah, well, they do have the San Francisco sort of connection, San Francisco Dolphins, but it just doesn't look like that sort of.
No, we've got the good part.
Yeah, you've got
Mikey
the good.
McGee.
Yeah, you got Raheem. You got my boy Raheem Mostert
And he's back
everything.
too. I'm so happy
Yeah.
he's back.
It's
Speed
a
for
good
days.
offense there. Yeah, see, you guys actually know how to build that running back by committee. Whereas the Jets, they're getting random pieces that we're not sure how they're going to fit together. Whereas with the Dolphins, they have a proven track record with that sort of offense. Looking at the pieces have a track record. It's just Mike McDaniel needs to build his track record there. So it's just very interesting to see the difference between two division rivals who've stolen from the same coaching staff, which is not me being salty. I'm just saying that
We also
got
had
it
your
out.
first round pick
Yeah.
this year too. So thanks for that. That was great.
Yeah.
And you got Trey Lance for that, so enjoy.
Yeah. Have another one. We gave you another one, didn't we? So, next year's as well.
Yeah, we got.
But yeah, more Trey Lance talk later, I'm reckoning.
Or maybe.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
we're
It's
gonna
one of my bold.
foreshadow.
That
There's
may
some
be one
floppy
of my bold takes.
foreskin.
There's
Foreskin
Yeah,
flapping
there's a lot.
everywhere.
There's a lot.
Before the
Yeah.
foreskin comes right out, though, Tay, have you got any rookies you just want to ask Mark about real quick before we wrap?
No, not really, mate. Like you obviously just brushed aside tight end. I was
Fucking
wondering
tight
if
end.
you thought
He's
Trey
gonna do it.
McBride might have done something.
Yeah.
Because I did
think
wonder.
just-
He's ended up behind Zach Ertz, so I don't really see. I mean, most tight ends don't really break out for a few seasons anyway. I think they might run a few two tight end sets, especially without D-Hop there. I was just wondering if you had any take on whether he might have been decent. I can imagine you saying he's probably not a redraft target, but in terms of maybe even dynasty, do you reckon he's got a good future?
Mate, I think he's a really good value play. So I think you're right. He'll get looks, particularly while D-Hop's not there. I think I think Kyler and D-Hop will work their connection out the longer they're together. And now that, you'd hope that Kyler now will get his shit together. Now he's got his extension. He can settle down. They can get back to just being a air-it-out offense, him scramble when he needs to. So I think he's a really good value play. So he'd almost be like you grab him, 15th, 16th round in Astro, and he'd be one of your second or to last bench spots. You plug him in, might get some value out of it, and then do a Talor and trade him for Kittle.
Yeah.
Trade him
By
for
the
Cooper
way,
Kupp.
did anyone see Kyler Murray's clause in his contract that he's not allowed to play any video games or something, and he has to do a certain
it was
amount of hours.
it was 4 hours of video.
Yeah, he has to prove
week.
that he's watching video and not his phone or doing other shit. It's so
Whoa.
funny.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like the
He has
sort of
to
thing
be
I put
invested.
in around my kids with homework is like,
It
no
is.
iPad
It's
until your homework's done.
It's exactly that. It's like they are treating him like a child, and I think that's what they did on purpose to hopefully wake him up.
Apparently, every year
you just paid $230 million.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Is you say,
Exactly.
by the way, no iPad until after your homework's done.
Yeah.
You're getting the wooden spoon if you don't.
There must have been a new
clean up.
Call of Duty. There must be a new Call of Duty game if Kyler's
reckon?
getting modeled like this.
So they did. Someone did a graph of whenever Kyler Murray's seasons fall apart, it's always coincides with Call of Duty.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
FaZe Murray, man. FaZe Murray has not learnt his lesson. Yep. But
So good.
Wow.
Baby Yoda.
yeah.
Well, what a great spot to wrap up the rookies. Let's throw in a drop because that's what drops do. We drop them in and then we'll come back and we'll get around and do a lap of our first and most treasured bold predictions for this year. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Drop it like it's hot.
Let's do it.
Drop it like it's hot, like a G.
Let's do it.
And he starts going like he goes absolutely mental and then nearly explodes.
Like the game show version of playing Nick Kyrgios, eh?
Ozzy,
So just to clarify, one team scores more points and they both lost to the Jets. So you take the team that scores more points.
Yes.
NFL,
You guys made me really thirsty with all those trophy picks.
The trophy is making me thirsty.
fantasy.
Who won starts the week, by the way?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. On to the next one.
This is what 20 years of being a Jacksonville Jaguars fan does to a man, I reckon.
I feel like this was so much easier when I wrote it down. You guys are making this sound so hard.
this is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
But it was in the Brady era. Yeah.
Everything's in the Brady era, mate.